Hi everybody, today is Saturday, July 18, 2026. My name is Payman. I had the opportunity to read this book. It's a really great book by Reza Zarghamee. Publisher is Mage Publisher, date published 2018. It has 15 chapters and 716 pages. It's a very magnificent book. But one of the questions that comes to anybody's mind: why should I invest in this money? Why should I buy this book? That's one question. And why should I read about Cyrus the Great? Someone is from Iran. They say, well, I should read this book because Cyrus the Great is the founder of Iran and I should know about my history. Another person is non-Iranian and says, well, what is the big deal about the Cyrus the Great? Everywhere I go, Iranians are talking about Cyrus the Great. What did he achieve? What did he accomplish that motivates me to go do research about him? If you look at me, I have done two other books. This one will be third book that I have read about Cyrus the Great. So what is the significance for me? I'm not Iranian. Why should I read about Cyrus the Great? Okay, we just look at it from this point of view, that how did he become king of Iran, king of kings of Iran, and what kind of an impact he had in the history of humankind, not just for Iran, but for the rest of the world. Some of the prop is already visible, and you could say, oh, okay, I got it. So that's the direction we are going. Okay, so, and this author, Mr. Reza Zarghamee, has done a fabulous job for putting this piece together. Excellent job, great job. He's a scholar. And what is so interesting, he says, Iran's Age of Empire, Book 1. So there must be Book 2 is coming. I'm assuming this person is researching, and I'm looking forward to see their upcoming book. I will buy it, and I'm going to enjoy reading it. So Cyrus the Great was born 590 and 576 BCE in Anshan, Persis, modern day Fars, Provence, Iran. His parents are key, particularly in current affairs of Iran. His parents were Cambodia or Cambyses. First, the king of Anshan, and Mandana of Media, daughter of the Median king. I'm not pronouncing this person's name properly. I apologize. Astyages. Ancient historians such as Herodotus says Astyages feared Cyrus because of a prophecy that he would overthrow him, so he tried to have the infant killed, but the plan failed. Does this kind of remembers you the story of Prophet Moses? Little bit, there's a prophet of Moses over there. The story of Prophet Moses. I am not discrediting it, Prophet Moses or Cyrus the Great. I'm just trying to say this book is well written and it is very enigmatic. I want to read this book. I enjoyed it. So let's come to this story. Okay, remember this is a book summary, and I'm not going to go in every detail. I encourage you to read it for yourself. So, Aztec, the king Aztecs, had two dreams about Mandana, his daughter, that she's having a baby, and this baby is going to overthrow him. So this king, Median king, didn't like that. That grandson is going to overthrow him, and if Aztec is no longer a king, so he's jobless. He's going to lose his job just to begin with. Uh, that's the job of a king. So he didn't like it. So what happens when Mandana is pregnant? So Aztec father says, well, Mandana, you're gonna get rid of we're gonna get rid of this baby that you're having. So Aztec calls Harpachus and says, well, get rid of this child for me. And Harpachus takes the baby, and with his wife they are looking, and they say, oh, we cannot get rid of this sweet baby. He's an infant child, didn't do anything wrong. So they begin to raise this child as their own child. Do you see like they call it parable? Like a, no, the parallel. Prophet Moses and Cyrus the Great is kind of a parallel story is coming along. So one day Cyrus the Great, it's not Cyrus the Great at this time, Cyrus was 12 years old playing with the other kids. The kids voted for him to become the king. So Cyrus becomes the king in this kid play, and one of the kids who voted for him to become a king didn't want to listen to Cyrus. And this disobedient or rebellious kid was coming from a well-to-do family. So wasn't listening to Cyrus, and Cyrus orders the entourage to give a good smacking to this child because he's not listening to me. So when that happens, the kid cries, goes to mom and dad, says, Mom and Dad, this kid hit me. And the dad gets furious and comes and says, you hit my child. So the king comes and becomes the arbitrator at this time, and the king says, well, you're not behaving like a normal kid. There is a loyalty blood into you. And they bring Harpachus and confess that was involved in this matter, that he disobeyed the order and did not kill the baby. So Astacus says, that's fine. And it gets, the king doesn't display anger over them. So what happens? He throws a big feast and invites Harpachus to that meal and says, eat this meal. And when he's eating, at the end begins to realize that was his baby. Harpachus doesn't get infuriated, doesn't show anything, says, well, I deserve it because I disobey your order, and I deserve what had happened here. And Cyrus the Great, to raise to power, it is mythical. We have a little bit of parallel to Prophet Moses, then we have a little bit of the story of a founder of Rome, Romulus and Romulus, that they were when they were outcast, they were infant, and wolf begins to feed them. And Cyrus the Great has that element into his upbringing, that he was outcast, and there was a dog that was raising Cyrus the Great. So you see, there's a mythical, there is a mysticism. It's a very, very interesting stories coming into it. We also need to acknowledge that the story of Cyrus the Great is going to be like this, because Iran's libraries were burned 3 times by the invaders. So gathering information will be very difficult, and Iranian scholars will be relying on Greek historians, Roman historians to say who was the Cyrus the Great. And because the Greek historians and like Herodotus and other ones, they had bias against Iran, because Iran was at war with Greece, Iran was at war against Rome. So they're not going to come and provide facts about Cyrus the Great, but they may put their own ideas. Who was the Cyrus the Great? You see what's happening? Like it is a little bit difficult to understand who is really Cyrus the Great. It's a little bit difficult to understand who is the Cyrus the Great. So we're understanding that what we have here is very enigmatic, very difficult to understand who Cyrus the Great, but we are understanding who the Cyrus the Great is. But for many people who love the faith of Zoroastrianism or Zartosh, I can say it a lot, I'm pronouncing it a lot better, the faith of Zartosh, Zoroastrian, my tongue is not turning this moment. I always say it in English, but this moment. And many Iranians, I would say 99% Iranians, know about Zoroastrian faith. I said it right. And they love this faith. Okay? I was thinking Cyrus the Great was Zoroastrian. After I read in this book, and it says, no, he was following the faith of Mithraism. And woo, that is very interesting. And I really liked it, what he was saying it. And I liked it. I liked it what is written, like it's like bring you the facts forward. It's not just stating the opinion. That's why I'm saying you need to buy this book, read it for yourself, because you will get the ingredients you need to understand about the Cyrus the Great. But Darius the Great, Xerxes the Great, they were Zoroastrian, not Cyrus the Great. And the story begins that this is the part that we could see the diversity in Iranians' culture. We could see that how it breaks away that we are different, but we are a human being. For example, if you have read the Bible, the Holy Bible, Ezra 1-4, over there, God commands Cyrus the Great, go and invade Babylon and liberate the Jews and help them financially to build the temple in Jerusalem. And this is exactly what is happening. So Cyrus the Great goes and invades Babylon, emancipating the Jewish people, and says, go to the Jerusalem, I give you all kinds of money you need to build your temple, worship your God, whatever you want to do. And this is the part, this piece of this clay that you see, I'm holding it, it's in the British Museum, but this is a replica. I love it, that's why I have it. So and in this clay, Cyrus the Great, there are some scholars such as Reza Zarghamee says that this is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the first declaration of human rights. And what you see here, what I have here, okay, this one, okay, is there are many scholars that they will say Cyrus the Great as the founder of the first Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and this is his legacy, what we have today. So, and that is why it's so intriguing to know the Cyrus the Great, how his ideas changed the world. Because then after that we have Magna Carta and other ones that they are trying to limit authoritarian rulers of their times and to accept the notion of citizen, not subject, that when a person is living in a country is not a subject, is a citizen. They have rights and freedoms. And that is what the Cyrus the Great, the first Universal Declaration of Human Rights, means, that I'm free to worship God the way I want to. It is my choice. I could think what I want. I can say what I want. But as long as, like, I'm not saying something that's gonna make people, like, this is always, it's being used. If you're in a movie theater, this is an example that they will say, like when we say we have freedom of right, freedom of speech. When you're sitting in a movie theater, are you going to shout and say fire and cause havoc? No, it needs to be reasonable. But remember, when we say freedom of speech, is going to move people from their comfort zone. That's very important. You're going to challenge the conventional wisdom of society. But many people, they know that Machiavelli read Cyrus the Great. There's a book called Education of Cyrus, and that's what's coming. It's coming into it. Machiavelli advised that a prince may possess either power or glory, but not both. So the challenge lies in the balancing the two. He discusses the importance of maintaining social order without ruling with an iron fist. Through this lens, the reader can learn about the art of governance that enabled Cyrus to rise to greatness and unify Iran's ethnic groups into a single voice. Thank you.